Is that what you're worried
mad
about?
cow
Rick?
disease?
Is it true though? You want to eat? What? You guys are fucking. Okay, I'm gonna look this up now.
You don't want to eat. It's not that you want to eat people, bro. You just become like a zombie, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's something that can turn on in your brain that makes you want to eat people, then that's almost claiming that there's something in your brain that you could turn on to make you eat people, which means that
just take some
you want to eat people.
Yeah, it's called being a Chevy fan.
Y'all heard about the cat parasite, right? That makes people let rats go at the cats, and the cats will just eat them, right?
Allegedly, that's probably not the case, but
Toxoplasmosis. That's what I got that from Rogan.
Yeah, that's the cat.
Yeah. You got that line? You got it?
No, I got it from Rogan. That pathogen.
Wait, he transmitted it to you.
Nah, but the mad cow disease, that there's a type of prion disease that's passing on through the deer population in America, and they're like, if you're a hunter, they'll give you a class on it. You're supposed to report deers that are acting weird, like aren't scared of cars, and they're like getting hit easier than.
Yeah, you mean skinwalkers?
Call the cops on a deer.
They don't usually last that long.
The deers are getting this disease where they lose their minds, bro. They're getting infected by prions.
It sounds like most people have lost their minds. Like,
yeah, dude.
I mean, there's that theory that the fast food they use like human, they use like whatever orphan meats they have. And it's
I
like,
wish
if
I
you
didn't
take
believe
drugs,
that. I think it's so true that they use people in like the pork and shit.
Yeah.
I think it's so true. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
I'm down. They talk about
in
their NASA documents. They talk about well, I don't know if it's NASA, but they talk about human flesh farms where they like grow human tissue in labs, and they have like lab grown meat. So I mean,
yeah,
beyond. But it's like if you take bath salts and go and try to eat somebody, maybe you're already like a person with mad cow disease, and the drugs just kind of like amplified it.
Oh, they like bring it out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Dude, they've got flying
I'm usually
foxes
pretty
and
chill when I take
lorikeets
bath
here.
salts.
All
that's how you know.
They're all
you have to take bath salts
to.
If you take bath salts and you eat somebody,
you're probably already banished to hell.
You're stuck.
The bath salts that did it.
I think Wish and Blob are related. I think that's the secret.
How do you know?
Dude, I think you guys are brothers. Like actual.
How'd you know that?
Now my stepdad is his real dad.
Damn, we're getting real. Yeah. Hey, prove me wrong. Can you talk more about the reptiles in the Bible?
Hold on.
Did people change their names so much? Like, I don't even remember what his original name was.
Who? Rick Sky?
Prove me wrong. Like, that's not his name.
That's Ariel.
Ariel. And even before that, it was, I forgot his name, but yeah.
BB Wolf.
Jeez.
It was
yes, BB, yes. There we go.
No, it's still BB.
It's like fucking 5 years ago.
I think his like account name is like BB Wolf or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Something.
Now, what do you want me to talk about? What the dragons in the Bible?
Well, they're just reptiles in general, like Nephilim, all that stuff.
You're coming in pretty quiet.
Me?
What's the first
no
mention of a chameleon in the Bible?
It might have been a metaphor for like blending in, which we know that the lizard people, they're chameleon-like in their ability to blend into society.
Yeah, there is that theory where Where basically you can't see them like in They Live. You have to have some kind of way to be able to see them.
Well, the other thing too is so they've essentially shown themselves on the screen to us so often that if people actually were to see one in real life, they would just tell themselves they were going crazy.
Have
you
thought
noticed that?
Maybe that's what the alien abductions are, just lizard people.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's more than just lizard people. I'm pretty sure there's like other weird and strange things. It seems as though Lord of the Rings might be more towards reality. I don't know. Maybe the orcs in Lord of the Rings might represent the reptiles. I'm not really sure. I mean, I think actually the Eye of Sauron, isn't his eye kind of reptilian?
Yeah.
Or is it Sauron? Yeah.
Yeah, but technically the Eye of Sauron was not like on the tower. They changed that in the movies.
Yeah.
And
they're like angels. The wizards
actually,
are...
maybe the elves are let. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah. They live like a long time.
I got something to say about the who said that they bred pigs and humans together. I don't know if that has anything to do with what my brother was talking about. That they used to like the taste of humans, and but it was getting to where they were eating too many humans or some crap, so they bred this new thing that ended up being pigs because it tasted like human or something. And that's why the Jays want to put it in all the meats and stuff. Well, dude, what's crazy is like I know this guy that works. He's a Hasidic Jew, right? He works at the poultry places in this place in New York, and he gets everything, and he tells them what chicken goes where. And he said that all the sickly chicken, anything with broken bones, any cuts, any nicks, any sickly looking chicken, any slimy chicken, any of that, it all goes to the goyim. All the pretty chicken, all the good looking stuff gets blessed kosher. Well, then he's telling me about this freaking the milk scam from the dairies that because he has to do with all this food up there, so he knows a bunch of dairy farms too. And he says they're all sneaking pig's milk into the cow's milk because they have a bunch of pig's milk, but they're not telling. They're blessing it halal, so halal is got pig's milk in it. All right, honey.
Nah, ain't no way.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Astaghfirullah, ain't no way.
Why? I get raw milk from my farm, bro. Shit's tested every time. Fuck that.
You go there and you see all the cows in the field, and then you go like a bit deeper into the farm and you see like the part of the, I guess like the pigs that they're using to pump some of the milk into it.
Like 20%. 2% pig.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, so like Sauron's eye, apparently like, yeah, it was more of like, I guess like a metaphor in the books that was used to describe his I guess like influence over Mordor. And that he, I guess, was like watchful of everything going on somehow.
Illuminati shit.
Yeah, it was more like like almost like
the
an
all-seeing
omniscient kind
eye.
of thing. But there was no actual eye, so they like added it onto the tower. Although the tower thing's kind of cool.
What, just for the movies?
Yeah, just for the movies. But yeah, I was looking at Job. I guess like Job gives like that one account of the breathing dragon, where it's like Basically, it's also the one that like people have pointed out to be like dinosaurs, or it's saying that he created the behemoth and his tail is like the size of a cedar. And then it like goes on to talk about in later passages how who can open the door of his face? His teeth are terrible. Round about his scales are his pride, shut up together as with a closed seal. One is so near to another, no air can come between them. And then it talks about out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or a cauldron. And his breath kindles coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth.
Where does that start?
That's in Job 41. And then it talks about in his neck remain of strength, sorrow is turned to joy before him. The flakes of his flesh are joined together, they are firm in themselves, they cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as stone, and yet as hard as a piece of the nether millstone.
Absolutely. Yeah, dragons are real. I have theological justification for that. And basically, anthropologically, archaeologically, sociologically, you have dragons in every corner of the earth, everywhere. They pop up in Mesoamerica, they pop up in Japan, in China, in ancient Sumer, Babylon, Babylonia, Chaldea. They're everywhere, bro. Through all time, we have dragons, dude.
What do you think about the idea that we're on a giant dragon corpse?
Yeah, I know about Mud Fossil University. I know about those people. I have friends like that on Facebook, dude. I follow. I'm not that extreme with it, dude. I'm not entirely sure. They could BB might have something going on. We might be standing on ancient bodies of titans. I'm not there, dude, personally. But I'm still investigating our reality. Who knows? I don't want to start a whole
You haven't seen the
war on
vagina-shaped rocks?
I've seen the vagina-shaped rocks. I've absolutely seen the tunnels, crevices, the anuses.
Making sure.
Yes.
I saw a guy who actually went and found a pair of tits. He didn't know it though. He was like, they look so much like tits, but then he gave some kind of weird geological bullshit.
Were they drinking milk out of them, like dragon milk?
The thing is, there's a controversy on the translation of the Titans, how tall they were. Enoch references them being anywhere between, depending on the translation, it says like 40 to 300 cubits, bro. So you got 40 cubits, and then you got 400 cubits. That's a big difference, dude. Which one's the right one? I honestly don't know if 300 is the right one, or 300 or 400 cubits. That's insanely tall, dude. I can't comprehend that. That's incomprehensible. For a creature to be that tall.
There's an alignment of the heavenly bodies coming up here pretty soon. And there's talk of the Titans or some kind of angels being loosed once the Euphrates River is dried up. And they portray that in like the Greek stories, like Hercules and things like that.
It says that he beholdeth all high things. Or like over here, it's like, okay, he maketh a path to shine after him. One who would think the deep to be hoary. Upon earth there is not his like, who is made without fear. So there's nothing, no other creature aside from him that's made without fear. And he beholdeth all things, or all high things. He is king over all the children of pride.
Thing is that the Tanim, the dragons, were created on like the third day, dude, of creation. Way before us. Before the animals. Like, look it up, dude. And the dragons were like the third thing created, bro. People don't realize that. I have no idea about ontology. And these things are huge, bro. The biggest creature that ever lived is not the blue whale. It's not the humpback whale. It's not the anaconda. It's not the elephant. It's not the mammoth. It's a dragon.
Have you heard about in the Dead Sea Scrolls? It compares the Watchers to an adder, and it says they're like reptilian.
Wait, what?
Apparently, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it says that.
No, you're talking about in the you're talking about in the Testament of Amram, the father of Moshe, in his testament. And if you understand the testaments, a lot of the patriarchs had a testament. It was a tradition, not just by the Jews, but it was an ancient tradition where on your deathbed you would write your last testament, or you would give your last testament, and somebody else would write it down as you're speaking to your family, giving your last testimony about any regrets that you had in your life. You know, if you would change something, if you could have changed, you know, the past, what you would have done, some lessons to be learned of your life that you give to your children and your grandsons. And then, you know, you give your last piece, bro, before you croak. And so in his last testament, Amram mentioned in a vision that he got where there was entities fighting over him, and he witnessed them through the unction of the Holy Spirit. He was able to witness these interdimensional beings that arguing about him, and they didn't realize that he was witnessing them, because it was Yah who allowed him to see them, right, temporarily, to see these entities arguing over him. And they're arguing about their powers on the earth. These are literally these are principalities on the earth, but they're interdimensional reptilian beings. Amram, when he describes how they look, he describes them in reptilian form. It's the oldest text that I'm aware of that references anything resembling what we know of today as a reptilian. And it's Moses' father. And he says that they're very colorful. So somebody said chameleon. Somebody asked, is there any verse in the Bible that talks about a chameleon? Well, yeah, I would say that this is the closest one to a verse like that, because he's describing these reptilian beings as very colorful, but they're like adder, like snake, like, and even there he describes it's kind of fragmented, but you can kind of fill it in, where it's kind of like he's talking about scales and their eyes. He's talking about their eyes and their face specifically, but even though they're snake-like, reptilian-like, they have clothing, bro. They're fashionable. They have like like these interdimensional beings have clothing, which to me is mind-boggling, because it doesn't compute. Like, what's clothing? Why would clothing even be a thing in this wispy realm, in interdimensional realms, or in the heavenlies? Why is clothing even a thing? You think because we think clothing is something that comes from like barbaricness, right? Because of cold, we need to keep warm, or we need fur. You know, we need a carcass. We need a hut. We need some leather. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. So it's clothing, right? Like, is it made of like cotton, or is it like, you know, they snap their fingers and they change their outfit or something?
I have no idea, bro.
Put it on. So they walk into a wardrobe and put it on.
Your guess is my guess, bro. It doesn't give us all that detail.
So when David Icke was saying that there's like archons and these like reptilian beings, he was correct.
That's yes, and in the Testament it talks about one of them is known as the Prince of Rosh. In the Prince of one is Rosh, and I want to say Makesh or something like that. Like, these are legit principalities on the earth. One is known as the Prince of Rosh, and a lot of people suspect that word Rosh is referencing Russia, but we don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But Rosh, to me, there is a principality over the nation of Russia. Absolutely, one of these reptilian entities, and he's the one's actually pulling the strings over that nation. You know what I'm saying?
Black bug.
But that's how principalities work on the earth. There's these divine principalities, and they do have power and authority. And if you understand, he probably has a sigil, probably even has like you could probably summon him and work for his behalf if you know what you're doing, if you're a true sorcerer and know actually like how it all works. These people are retarded. A lot of these people, new age people, they think they know, they have some crystals. They think they know what the hell they're talking about. They have no idea, bro. No clue. They got some crystals, real little Aleister Crowley. They think they know about the occult. Crazy.
Well, some people put crystals up their nose and they think they see the guy. So, you know.
You are a crystal. How about that?
What do they call that gland? Pineal?
Skeletal structure, the glands, the cranium, all that.
I thought you didn't like minerals. You're all about the.
I love minerals. I hate vitamins.
Yeah,
but with the abduction experience, a lot of times it's these fellows messing with you, probing at you.
Why would they bother with little old me, like?
I don't know. It's like everything's trying to get at your asshole these days.
Maybe they can like harvest like souls and use it for technology. Maybe that's why they have really powerful technology, because they use like soul energy.
Spirit bombs.
Some people want to be buddy with them. They want to befriend them.
Yeah, witches and people that are in the flat Earth community.
Yeah, there's a few in here that they would love to befriend one of these things.
What about like know thy enemy or something? Did you make an argument for it?
I don't think so. I don't think you're supposed to.
I'm all set with that one. You can have that.
I'm good.
Dance with the devil?
Dance with the devil, kid. Go ahead.
Yeah, you want to have a reptile on speed dial?
Go play with fire, dude. Go play with fire, see what happens.
Now I'll come back spitting fire.
Hey,
Here we go.
That's a good lyric. A reptile on speed dial.
Yeah.
I do like it, yeah.
Yeah, Mel Gibson, he's excited. He's working on Resurrection of the Christ, the sequel, and most likely it's going to have dragons in it, from what he's saying.
Is there how long was Jesus
way
around?
up?
Working their way up for what?
I guess they're propping
dragon.
They're propping Mel Gibson up as their hero. Oh well, he's our hero, I guess.
So they're trying to make like Mel Gibson like Christ. Good one.
Yeah.
Yo, Mel Gibson looks possessed. I watched that whole interview with Rogan. I could not stop looking at that dude's eyes, bro. He kind of reminds me of that. It's funny because they're two different people, completely different people, but they have the same eyes. It's what's that one rapper from LA? Recently did a song with Kendrick. Gunplay, Lefty Gunplay or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yo, if you look at that dude's eyes, bro, he looks possessed. Like the way he looks like either he's killed people, he's a killer, or he's possessed. He's got the devil inside him. And Mel Gibson's got that freaking look in his eyes, dude. And I can't. The whole interview, I'm like, dude, what is going on with this dude? This dude's.
What's the name of the rapper?
Lefty
Both
Gunplay.
Lefty Gunplay and Mel Gibson got the same eyes, bro. And they look possessed.
Lefty Gunplay is supposed to be like this essay who's like a retard, and it's like they're just letting him on these podcasts. And yeah, he's insane.
The dude's fried, and Mel Gibson got that fried look. But Mel Gibson is like a professional. People can take him seriously, dude. And he makes good movies,
they're probably
honestly.
both baby killers.
Did you say Lefty Gunplay?
Yeah.
Where the frick do they get these names? Lefty Gunplay. Slim Shady.
No, but I recently noticed both their eyes,
Resurrection
bro.
of the Christ. Oh man, is Resurrection of the Christ? Is Jesus going to come back and start kicking some ass? That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
I have
Start
no
his
idea
own
what Mel Gibson's got some
executing all the
crazy movies up
grabblers.
his sleeve though. Before he dies, he wants to
Get
make some
revenge.
bangers. No, Mel Gibson's gonna make
All the
some bangers,
Pharisees.
dude. And I'm looking forward to some of these movies. He's talking about making movies regarding what we're talking about, dude. Like the principalities, the occult. He actually wants to make movies on like what Hollywood should have been focused on for the past 100 years, and they haven't been, which is the occult. Like these stories that we talk about, they always mess it up. Like
Yeah,
when they
can I
talk about when
grab
they
you?
make
No,
when they
no.
recreate Noah's flood, dude, they always jack it up, bro.
I mean, they would
Yeah,
They can
can
never
I
get it
definitely.
right.
grabbler?
I mean, they definitely wouldn't have done it for the past 100 years because they only started ramping it up in the algorithm at like basically over the past what would it be, like 20 years really? Maybe a bit less than that, like 17 years, 18 years. So like if
Yo,
anything, it's coming in their timing of like having brought that information out into the public so that everybody knows about it so that they can now start making movies about it for people to kind of
the closest thing we have is like Lord of the Rings, bro, and like Harry Potter and shit. But if you got the scripts right, dude, if you follow the text, dude, and you base it off as close as you can to the text, like a war movie, you can make a masterpiece.
In Lord of the Rings, the wizards, like Gandalf and Sauron, they're angels. If you look into their lore, they were created like at the beginning of time and have existed all throughout time. And they like don't die, and like one of them's evil, one of them's good. They're like battling. Um, but yeah,
But yeah, these
And actually,
principalities, bro. If you could like get that on theater, and like just the dynamics of the netherworld and like the like that would be insane. With the navel of the earth, with a flat Earth realm, have it like just incorporate the cosmology, the philosophy, the theology, everything, dude, and make it all accurate. Oh my god, yo, Mel Gibson did that, dude.
yeah, Mel Gibson, bro, he's gonna do it. He's gonna have Sheol. He's gonna have it all. He doesn't know how he's gonna do it yet, but he wants to. Yeah.
he's always made good movies. It's kind of weird because he had that call and he said like Jews or something like that, and they still let him like make movies.
Yeah, the Patriot, dude, classic.
Braveheart,
Dude, I saw
Braveheart,
that movie with my
Apocalypto.
grandmother.
Apocalypse,
I
all
was in
these
the
movies.
theater. I was in the theater with my grandmother. She was like I was like 20 or something. She was like kind of old. And like that guy got his leg taken off in the cannonball, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, cause I kind of yell like black people in the theaters, you know. And like
I
she
could
was
not
like
sit
all
next to you.
embarrassed because I was yelling shit. You couldn't. I'm pretty loud. And like Seagal movies and shit when they came out, yeah, people would be getting their kneecaps broken. I'd be like, "Oh shit!"
He directed
Wait, I have a
Hacksaw Ridge, which is the Christian medic never fired his gun. That story.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have a
everybody
question.
keeps
Hold on.
saying, yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
When Mel Gibson was on Joe Rogan, was he talking American or was he talking Australian?
American.
It's weird because he's supposed to be Australian.
Yeah, he sounds American though. I don't know where he's from. Good question. I don't know where this is going. Somehow Mel Gibson came into the mix. Somebody brought him up, but I'm not a big fan of Mel Gibson like that. Like, but if he could do that for me and make some good movies, bro, because Hollywood sucks, dude. I don't go to movies anymore. There's once in a while I have a good movie, but
Hey, Leon, I've been wanting to ask you about this for a long time because you know about the Apocrypha books and all that. So I ran across this story whenever I was doing my research about King Solomon and how he really got his wisdom by being granted the ring with a seal on it, and he commanded the demons to that's how to tell him the truth about everything, and he called demons before him. Have you heard about that? The
yeah,
writings of Solomon, Book of Solomon,
yeah.
and
I don't consider the Testament of Solomon inspired. It's one of those
Okay,
works.
that's
I have it
fine,
on.
but talk about the ultimate movie ever, right? If you're talking about making a apocrypha movie, I guess. But they say that that's the true story of Friday the 13th because do you know about that? How it relates to the Friday the 13th? About how they
Yeah,
burned the 100 of the Templar Knights
yeah.
at stakes after they got the ring back. That's
The
fascinating
Muslims,
story.
the Muslims. I thought, right?
I don't know. That's why I was. You know more about the apocrypha books than I do. I just ran across the
No,
story. I heard it.
the Friday the 13th is recent though, compared to anything considered apocryphal. The
Well,
Friday the 13th
in the
happened
story,
within, I want to say like the Middle Ages,
the story that I
when
heard was the
you had
Templar
well, hold
Knights.
on, yeah,
Okay.
there was a day where there was a decree made or something for like a public arrest of all the Knights Templars because the Knights Templars got caught up, right? They got caught up. They're they were conspiring. They were doing some funky shit, some shady
Okay.
shit,
So
right?
I heard a
The
different story.
economy and weird credit stuff. Where they were messing with the bankers and stuff. Weird stuff was going on. And then
That's not how it
plus
relates
they were
to the
worshiping.
ring.
Well, hold on. Plus they were worshiping Baphomet. Worshiping
Right.
Baphomet, and they were
Yeah.
they were doing all types of shit. So then they had between the Muslims and the church, you had a ton of Knights Templars that were persecuted and put to death. And there was a
Right.
date. The date it just happened to have been on Friday the 13th that a ton of Illuminati people, Knights Templars, were put to death, mostly by the Muslims. I want to say the Caliphate. I gotta review that. I gotta review that. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, check this out. So this is the story that I heard about it is that, King Solomon died and he was buried with his ring and the clay jars that held all the demons or Nephilim, after they told him. And it's fascinating read when you hear about all the things the demon told them about, how to prevent them, kick them out of your house or prevent them from, it reads like some of the exorcist books, how the priest would call on certain things to exorcise certain demons or whatnot. So it's kind of fascinating to hear all the details that came out of those writings. But the way it relates to Friday the 13th is that 100 years or whatever after he was buried at the bottom of the Temple Mount in the bottom with the clay jars and the ring and the Knights Templars, and then it collapsed. The wars happened. The temple fell down on itself and was buried underneath all the rubble, whatever. And the Knights Templars' original task, was to get that ring. And they spent 100 years, and they got the ring out, and they used the ring and the demons because now they could control the demons, and to do things they shouldn't have been doing with it. And they were eventually tricked, and the Pope and maybe the Muslims, whoever got the ring from them. I mean, if the story goes like this, the Pope got the ring, and then they rounded up 100 of the Knights Templar and burned them all alive in Vatican Square, and that was on Friday the 13th. That was the story that I heard. Anyway, that would have made a excellent movie. Mel Gibson made that. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. You know a lot about the Apocrypha. I figured it was not canon, but I wanted to ask you about it.
And then while they're burning, it could show like Christopher Columbus like coming to America and then like finding out the Earth is a globe.
Yeah. That'd be fire.
Well, they came across on an airship, but not a ship.
It's like, and then it shows like as they're like Templars are like screaming and like they're burning. You just see like the image overlaid in front of him, like looking at the lands of America as he's coming because he's like about to destroy all the natives. So then it gets to the point where he's like docking in, and then these guys are like bringing him food, and he immediately starts cutting their head off, and they're like taking their heads and making like putting it I don't know, making something out of it.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny you guys bring that up because, like, okay, so we have this old story tale of the Knights Templars getting killed, massacred for good reason. They're pretty demonic, but I think we might see the same thing in our lifetime. If what these white hat people thinking, these white hat thinkers are saying, that the pedophile rings are gonna get shut down, that all these artists are gonna get caught up, these politicians, the ones that are being exposed, the Illuminati ones, that's like a lot of these families are being exposed, and it's almost like this thing's happening again, where these people will get persecuted for a time. We might see a lot of rumbling in the system because of it. You guys see that? No.
Wait, like with who getting killed? Oh, like the pedophiles?
Some of the Illuminati, Illuminati
Nah,
members
I don't think
routinely
that's gonna happen.
get massacred. No, they do get massacred, bro. And there's something about King Henry VIII, and dude, it's so much about history that I don't have photographic memory, but I remember reading about this stuff. And
yeah, but you have to remember now, it's like they've got, they've done away with those barbaric ways to some degree anyway. Like the most you would get is if there's like some kind of war or like a terrorist attack. Where if like somehow people receive the death penalty.
no, but his house did burn down. Mel Gibson's house did burn down. There's judgment happening. These people are losing their houses. They are being exposed. They are going to jail. Things happening. Justice is being served somewhat.
How do you know the Templars back then weren't the good ones that were trying to avoid these people that are in power these days to actually take over, and then they got taken over and stories were made about them as bad people?
You gotta look at the writings. You gotta study the times.
Well, I feel like all the Templars were evil.
At somewhere along the line, they corrupted themselves. It's hard to say when exactly. Apparently, initially they were a good organization, right? Christian Brotherhood, but somewhere along the line,
and had to get killed by the saviors.
They became sodomites. Literally, they became sodomites. They started worshiping Baphomet. For real.
A lot of people try to use the Templars as a way of like hand waving anything good about Christianity. I've noticed. So to me, it's a lot of propaganda. They wear red crosses allegedly, on the tabard they wear and things like that. It's like, look at me, look at my red cross. You know who I am,
Yeah, it's like the Templars were basically there, like as a military order, conflated as being a representation for like Christianity, doing things that, I guess you would parallel with the Old Testament in terms of like conquest and other shit. That like people could easily.
You guys are talking about them. You guys are talking about the Templars like they don't exist anymore.
Well, like the era of their existence is like a thing of the past.
No, they just stopped donning the clothes that identified them as being Templars.
Yeah,
they're still here. Like, they just took on different roles.
Yeah, but I would argue then they're like not really any longer Templars as they were.
Well, they still are Templars. They just don't identify as a Templar anymore. That's a word of the past. They identify nowadays as something else. So their symbol is the Red Cross, right? And in America, pretty much in every city you go to, there's a Red Cross ready to take your blood.
What, you're saying they became the medical the medical establishment?
Well, I don't think the Red Cross is necessarily associated with the medical industry. I think it's a separate entity on its own.
Well, technically, if I remember correctly, there was like different factions of the Templars, and one of them was dedicated. Well, of course, I was saying it was like kind of like a military sort of thing. And if you consider the military does have medics, the Red Cross being like a sort of emergency medical thing, it probably does have some overlap with the Templars, and I think there was one specific sect that was actually dedicated to like medical.
Bro, you have like the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah,
The
that's
Knights
what I
of
was about to
Malta,
say. Knights of
right?
Columbus. Yep.
Club of Rome stuff. Like, dude, it's overwhelming, bro. It really is. It's just too much, dude. At some point, you should be like, all right, this is enough, dude. I got to drop this for today and just go be a dad, you know? Because you're going to get lost in that shit, dude.
Actually, you'll get found.
I don't know. I think the stories are fascinating. I'd love to hear you guys talk about them, and that's why I brought up the Solomon. You know, you always think that I was raised in the South and church my whole life, and I've heard the story about King Solomon asking God for wisdom and thinking he just granted him the wisdom, right? And then I hear about, oh, well, the archangel Michael gave him the ring that had the signet ring in it. Who knows what the ring was or what signet? Some people say it was the Star of David on the ring, but to hear all the accounts of the demons that came before him and what they said was, it was quite fascinating. Anyway, I think your knowledge and stories and on that, Leon, that's why I had to hit you with it. Fascinating.
No, yeah, Solomon's renowned, right? Even by the Masons. But I
Actually,
don't know
going
much
back to the
about that.
Templars. Sorry, going back to the Templars real quick. Doesn't it actually make more sense that the Templars actually just turned themselves into the founding fathers?
Well, it's kind of cloudy. That history is a little obscure because, you got the Rosecrucians and the Templars that at some point kind of unified, merged together in a way that I don't know. And then they became the Masons. So, like, the Masons somehow came from the Rosicrucians and the Templars. But I don't know how to untangle it because I'm not that dedicated to studying it. Because it's all occult knowledge. It's really vanity, like whatever. But it's good to know. And then the Masons have so many divisions, right? It's ridiculous, dude.
Well, it's all really just a pyramid scheme.
You got the Yorkshire Masons versus the Scottish, right? And then you got the Blue Lodge, the White Lodge. You got the Muslim Lodge. What are the other ones called? They got the funny hats.
Shriners.
The Shriners.